Bing! And we're live.
Insert theme music here.
If only we had some.
Yes. Oh, I could put. Let's see. What movie was it that had the? Oh, that's right. It was History of the World where they had the organ made up of uh, human slaves. But there was some other something else with a musical instrument. Not Monty Python. It was an actual movie, not a TV show, where there was a musical instrument and it was made up of yowling cats.
I'm trying to think of what that is. No.
Not coming to me. Okay, but yeah, I was just listening the other day to a podcast with far higher production values than ours. They had in addition to some minimal theme music, they had different sections, some of which were obviously scripted, and they had somebody hit with an amusing soundboard hitting various samples at key moments, of course.
Hmm. Yeah.
So just imagine all that's going on, and we can proceed.
Yeah, fair enough. Alright, so tonight we're going to be discussing E3. Relatively late, but we've both been very busy. Uh,
Yeah.
the more recent, as in the last couple of days, Reddit drama, and of course, the finalizations for the SPJ stream, which actually broke their required funding to get the people out there.
The SPJ AirPlay stream.
Yes. Uh, and at present, it looks like all of the finalizations have come through, and it's going to be an entirely Gamergate event. None of the anti-Gamergates wishes to turn up.
At the last moment, I have to say, thought I saw a confirmation from, was it Natalie Zen, that she would be attending?
Is that the PhD girl?
Not, I think that's Natalie Zen is the PhD girl. I'm not sure if the Twitter account there were two different Twitter accounts commenting on it, and let me double check this.
Go ahead. Uh,
In the meantime, proceed.
anyway, it looks like no one else has any particular interest in attending,
It's
which
because
is
oh, well, yeah.
yes. Most of them have either told him to bugger off, or you know, or otherwise said that they will not be attending because it would somehow legitimize harassment.
No. And let's see, someone thought that someone, as I recall, said, "Sure, I'll attend if you pay me my fee of $10,000."
That was there are two characters who did that. One of them was by the name of Man in Black,
Oh, that guy.
who is of course hilarious because no one's going to pay him to do anything. And the other character was someone who's colloquially known as PhD Girl.
Okay.
Precisely because apparently she's doing a PhD on Gamergate. If that doesn't just send chills down your throat, and I
Honestly,
don't know what would.
people have done doctorates on weaker tea.
I don't know, man. Weak. That is still pretty weak.
As far as I'm concerned, the people were making basket weaving jokes in the '70s. Basket weaving and pottery.
Oh god.
Yeah. Okay. This is nothing. This is also nothing new.
Yeah, you must. That must not be entirely as bad then. No, but in truth, it's still pretty awful that she's basically devoting an entire PhD and some improved funding towards Gamergate, and she basically said, if you pay my fees, I will come out." Of course, it's a bit too late for that now. So Korketsky responded saying, "Well, I asked you, and I made the exact same offer,
Yeah.
and you said no." So he's making a point that it was a bit late to come cry over spilt milk.
Yeah, I believe I saw that back and forth.
Yeah, so that's the latest. Everyone else has achieved their funding. It looks like I would say antis, but I suppose they're more like neutrals. Have been chosen. I'll just pull up the full list.
Yeah, Summers, Milo, Oliver, who else?
It's one of Summers' colleagues. God, I can't remember her name. Kathy Young,
Oh, right.
and there you go. And Mark Seb
Right.
are the ones attending. And let's just get the speakers list. Yes. Apparently, yes, it is Alan Bacori, Oliver Campbell, Mark Seb, Christina Hoff Summers, Milo Yiannopoulos, and Kathy Young. Of course, sadly, Brad Wardell decided to drop out, and the other attendee, the other dev, oh god, I'm trying to remember her name now. I should remember her name. God, it escapes me. But the other dev also dropped out, though that was for less contentious reasons.
Gotcha.
All right, the other journalists that are going to turn up are Leanne Walsh and Ren Laforme. Along with one possible that may not actually be there. And Gamergate critics, also known as anti-Gamergate, says Airplay will not attend. That will only attend Airplay, saying that it will only support a hate movement that has passing interest in journalistic ethics.
Passing interest. Hey, that's better than no interest.
Yes, I was thinking then.
My gosh, they admit we have a passing interest.
Yes, it's
Yeah, I think I
passing
can
is
take.
still better than nothing, eh?
I think I can take time out from my misogyny tonight to focus on ethics.
Oh, you gotta take a break off from the misogyny all the. You can't have misogyny all the time. I mean, that's just boring.
Well, I can multitask, but you have to prioritize too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Give something your full attention, for God's sake.
yeah. Or you'll never get anything done.
Focus, otherwise known as focus, nigga.
Yeah. No, but in truth, it's just a further continuation of the fact that they can't keep their goddamn story straight. And no, they shan't be attending. So it's essentially a free platform, provided it's kept focused to the journalistic issues involved. And there are plenty of issues, even if we are, as he has requested, put less focus on Zoe Quinn and more focus on the other issues in general.
Right.
And even that was actually why Brad Wardell decided to not attend, because he saw that and essentially thought, along with others, that no one was going to be interested in it. No, it was just going to be a whitewash, and so he decided he wouldn't attend after that.
Well, regardless of that interpretation, I think I can understand, given his particular history, having a relatively strong emotional reaction to the way that Koretsky phrased things and just deciding in so many words, fuck this.
Yep.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
No. It's completely understandable, to be honest, based off his own reactions and the fact that 3 years on, this 3 years on, he's still getting questions about it. He still has to address it every time he has a meeting.
Oh, I was checking Natalie Zed's Twitter to try and see if it was, if she's the person who's actually participating now, and if you will check the Kotaku in Action feed.
Ooh. Oh, that's interesting.
Yes.
Anyway, no. So overall, SPJ looks like it's going to go well. Outside of the issues, obviously the previous month's issues, uh, there hasn't really been any halt stops to it, and it's kind of actually disappointing that none of the anti-Gamergate will attend. Because it would have been interesting to get them on a even playing field, especially some of their larger names, shall we say.
Yeah, well, like I said, I'm still trying to figure this out. I thought at one point I saw a poster in KIA linked to a tweet that confirmed that she was in fact in. But now that you mention it, I'm not sure precisely who that was, and so I'm trying to verify that.
I believe it may have been a complaint about one of the. I think I know what you're talking about. It was a complaint about one of the issues, one of the ones that Kurskeski had put forward. I think saying that this person was really an anti,
So,
based because they had actually posted, you know, stuff,
right.
but posted fairly negative stuff about Gamergate, but it kind of got lost in the shuffle because everyone was posting negative stuff, so no one really noticed.
I believe his name is Koretsky.
Ah, thank you.
Yeah. The way you were saying it makes him sound like Martin Scorsese.
I was just trying to say it as well as I could, but no, because guys, I'm going to stop doing that eventually. Anyway, anyway,
Dude, have a poker face like me.
yeah. So no, is there anything you want to add? Because I've mostly been the one talking.
No, no, I'm totally good. If I have anything to ask or add, I will certainly chime in. So proceed at whim.
No, fair enough. No, so yeah, the SPJ update is relatively short. It's going ahead this August in August the 16th, I believe. And it's set to host the six Gamergate supporters, or six Gamergate affiliated supporters in either case, and we should be grilled by a selection of panelists, two or three, I believe.
It'll be like an episode of Family Feud.
Yes, which would be highly entertaining.
Where everybody tries to pick the most popular answer.
Uh, Hopefully, it'll be a bit more organized than that, but no. All right then. So moving on. Let's talk Reddit before we hit E3. Or
Yeah.
would you like to do E3 first?
Up to it sounds good. Yeah, less chit chat, more granny banging.
All right. E3 then. A relatively good year, I think.
You make it sound like a wine, and it probably was.
Yes, yes. I think you can consider E3 to be similar to a wine at this point. You get your good years and your bad years.
Yes. James the vinaigrette has gone sour.
Uh, Obviously, there was lots of drama over it, but most of it faded out, and a lot of the focus just was purely on the games, which is always good.
Yes.
As expected, some of the conferences were better than others. I believe the overall impression was that Sony came out ahead. They had the best presentation. They produced the most interesting games, which makes it kind of sad that all of them will be Sony exclusives. Microsoft was relatively meh, except for its announcement that it's finally going for backwards compatibility of a sort, though it's only to a limited range of games. I think it's about 10 games. Mm.
There's something
Yeah.
that just occurred to me. Do you know if you know of any? Who would you say was provided the best reporting on it?
Honestly, I would say the streams itself gave the best reporting. I didn't really pay attention to the on the floor stuff. I just went straight for the streams as I did last year.
Gotcha. I wasn't even thinking in terms of live coverage. I was thinking in
Yeah,
terms of
because almost all of the streams, or almost all of the conferences were streamed, and that's when they show off all of their new stuff, and then everything else is just interviews and what's the word for it? And just interviews and more in depth stuff, which I only really looked at XCOM 2 on the more in depth stuff, just to
gotcha.
get a sense of how that was panning out.
I've
Interesting. Oh,
I've never watched conferences any of you ever, just but I always I would like to be excited about one.
no, admittedly, when I got into it, it was it was on the wake of the whole Xbox One debacle, where Microsoft were going ahead with their always online plan, so everyone was hyping up, getting ready to see what would happen there,
Hmm.
you know, and getting ready to see if Sony was going to do the same thing, or if you know if Sony was going to you know be good
And,
to the gamers, so to speak.
and it hasn't exactly been the end of the world, but it's more like uh, yet.
Yes. So I mostly got into it when that happened. So obviously, the hype more or less covered me there, in terms of providing entertainment. But
I wonder
overall,
I wonder if Milo actually learned anything. You know, if his reporting, quote unquote, from E3 was as informative for him as, say, when he was doing those game streams and playing Portal, which I really wish he would continue with that on a limited basis. I can understand not wanting to spend all your limited time playing Vidya, but watching him play Portal was extremely entertaining.
yes, it was. I remember watching that. It was fun. No, I've not seen anything. Obviously, I try to avoid Twitter when and if possible.
Good man.
So I didn't see him saying anything on Twitter, but it is my understanding that if nothing was said, then either he didn't learn anything substantial, or it just got swept under the rug.
Uh,
But I suppose it would be interesting. Let me actually. Do you know his channel? I've forgotten it.
oh,
Uh,
Milo's YouTube channel?
yeah,
Oh, I'm sure you could find it easily.
I'll Google it. There we go. Yes.
Get out.
Oh, I'm using it via DuckDuckGo, and you.
I'm using it ironically.
No, I'm just lazy. No, I was using Google search engine to fix an issue with Google's goddamn software. So no, let's see. It's not on his YouTube channel. Maybe I think he's got a hitbox.
Oh! Bill Cosby. You say Quaaludes, I say brunch.
Isn't he in trouble for child molestation, as I understand it?
Cosby, I have no idea. I haven't heard any recent drama about him, and at this point, I probably really don't want to.
Hmm.
No, this is a tweet from Milo. It says, Bill Cosby, you say Quaaludes, I say brunch.
Yes. So, no, I can't. I mostly just watched the streams through 8chan had their own service up, which was actually really good. And in between, they were mostly just playing anime and video games. Let's see. Sony's conference was the best. I think they had the most games. EA's was kind of bland, to be honest. As expected, they mostly just focused on their
Hmm.
sporting franchises. I don't know, and Battlefront. But outside that,
Yeah, so we're just more of the same with more pixels and more frames per
yeah,
second.
basically.
Okay.
a shame, but that was more or less how it worked out.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, let me to ask you to pose you the movie trailer guy question. In a world where the trailer for the new Doom, while arguably exciting in some ways, still does not really thrill those of us who prefer the many, many enemies Serious Sam insanity style that seems to have been lost to the ages. Uh, where is there any kind of role for something really, really different to take off and gain hold in consoles again?
No, unfortunately, none of the games were like that. It was mostly a combination of the standard third person, first person shooters. Ah, yes, it's a Twitch. No, it was mostly just third person, first person. I think the closest you could argue is maybe for comedy ish, you could argue that it was Hitman in the Ubisoft stream.
Oh,
Because obviously that has had a history of mildly amusing.
amusing over the top controversy, sort of.
Yes.
Okay. They made a movie out of that, did they not?
Yes, actually they did. Which was wow, it was just awful. As they tend to be.
Was it Yui Bowl awful though?
I'm not sure. I think it might have actually been done by Yui, but also I don't think it was quite that bad.
Nope, directed by Caesar Montano. Never heard of him either.
Uh,
Oh no, wait a minute. That's Star.
oh, apparently there's a new film coming out next month. I did not know that.
Oh, that's right. Timothy Oliphant was the guy in Hitman. The guy who was in Deadwood. That's why I recognize.
Mm. Yeah, no, it didn't have any lasting impression. It was directed by a guy called Xavier Gens.
Yeah, something about that name rings a bell, but I'd have to follow down, and I would have to follow that down that thread, and that's just way too much digging around for a dick. But probably
Yeah, you're missing nothing.
it's probably all dick and no bone.
Nope. No, there's relatively nothing. He's done relatively nothing popular, or at least as far as I can tell. So no. Unfortunately, it was none of the games were crazy shootout fun. There was one game which was animated like an old Disney cartoon.
Mm. Yeah.
Oh god, I'm trying to remember the name of it now.
Well, that sounds interesting. Maybe.
Yeah, it was. It was very interesting. It was a lot of fun to see. Um,
I
I'm
would just
trying
like
to.
to see more genuine diversity and uh, consoles, I guess.
No, you are right. It's a lot of it was kind of a lot of it was good stuff. I was excited for it, but
Good
you
stuff,
know,
mostly a rehash, right?
yeah, sequels, sequels mostly. Sadly,
Sounds
which
like
is
Hollywood. Gaming, got bigger than Hollywood, and now it's committing a lot of the same mistakes in turn, maybe.
yeah. I think it would be safe to say that it's It's fun. The games are fun. They look fun, and if they if they pan out the way I hope they will, people will have a lot of fun. But they are kind of shamey.
Hmm. But if I wanted to watch a movie, I would be doing that instead of playing video.
Hmm. No, you are right. No, but oh no, overall, there it is. Cuphead. That was the name of it. Yeah, Cuphead basically looks like an old Disney cartoon. And I'm half convinced it's at least in part designed by Disney because it looks. I swear, it looks like some old Disney cartoons I've seen.
That does look pretty beautiful. I'm gonna have to check that out and see if the art, how much the art really hold and the rest of it holds up to scrutiny.
Yeah.
Because I was telling somebody the other day, John Chrisfalusi, the creator of Ren and Stimpy, uh,
Mm.
I remember years ago running across his blog, and he would post breakdowns of animation, explanations of art, and analyses of art and yada. And I'm not a visual or artistic person, so when somebody explains it in a way that is very approachable and easy to understand, I latch onto it. And
Mm.
he was just over and harping to some extent, as obsessed ranty people do, but harping repeatedly on the declining quality of just artistic skill and artistic anatomical knowledge, knowledge of motion, and just craft in general among artists and animators as time went by.
Mm.
And, and so it made me look really carefully at a lot of animation, not just computer animation, but specifically, I was saying I've never seen to this day computer special effects that look as good as the non-computerized special effects in Kubrick's 2001.
Yeah. No.
That's the
Uh,
standard.
the old style of animation has kind of faded out over time.
Well,
Mostly because it's very expensive, but
it takes a fuck of a lot of work. I don't blame people for not wanting to do that much work. My God, but when you look at what was created too, you can't help but go, God, it's like chiseling a statue out of a block of marble.
yeah, it takes a hell of a lot of time. But god damn, does it look pretty?
That goddamn was pretty, and I think ultimately it is, even if it's not just that one person created it, because I think there's plenty of collaborative team efforts. But it's all about the efficiency of the tools, and to a certain point, the more efficient your tool is, the more efficiently it translates your intent into reality. But at some point, the nature of the tool changes essentially, and it changes the nature of what you create with it, and that's what happened with digital media.
Mm. Of course, if of course, the question I draw from looking at it though is, oh wow, they actually did use all hand-drawn cell animations for the game. I was wondering if they developed some sort of tool that'll just speed up the whole process, but no, apparently they did just go straight on to hand animating it,
Nice.
which means it's going to look amazing.
Uh,
No, so I think that was actually one of the most impressive things because it was just full of color. Like everyone noticed it, it was just full of color, and made people just take note. But there were plenty of other games, if slightly less boring, that were interesting, like
they're
Deus Ex.
very eye-catching images in general. I'm looking at images from the game.
Mm, yes.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah. I will have to check this out.
Yeah, definitely. It's a game that I'm looking forward to.
That shoot, from the sound of it, this Cuphead thing might be the number one takeaway from E3 for a lot of people.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if it was, to be honest. I would not be surprised if it was.
Oh, say so. Anything else?
There were actually quite a few games that were worth watching. Let's see. I'm just going to screen share. There we go. If you I'll just roll through some of the images. No, some of the other games were interesting as well. Uh,
Oh.
I'm just trying to think. It was most Deus Ex was interesting. They're doing a new Deus Ex because the original, well, rather the original new one was very well received.
Oh boy.
So
Yeah.
you're looking at the video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice.
You can kind of see why people are interested in it, can't you?
Yeah, that's going to be really slick, I think.
Yeah. No, sadly, that was the most colourful game there. Not the only game that was mildly interesting, however. So one of the ones that was interesting was obviously Deus Ex, the sequel to Human Revolution called Mankind Divided.
This is the one with very heavy, dark political storyline, is it?
Yeah, well, they all Deus Ex games tend to have it, but this one was they were ramping that up as well.
No, but you see, this dystopia goes to 11.
Yes, yes, very much so. Right.
Oh, because you can only do that so far. I remember when I was first reading Clive Barker in the 90s, and it wasn't just that he was being more extreme than Stephen King. It was that he was a genuinely talented author and a very, very imaginative person with a very epic imagination and scope. And you know, past a certain point, you just got to recognize, some people can do this in a way that's engaging and seems worthwhile, and I may find something worthwhile you don't, but a lot of this stuff really is just trying to be more extreme than the last guy, and it doesn't end well.
No, if you keep going like that, you eventually end up in Warhammer 40k, in which you become so grim dark that you become amusing rather than horrifying.
Valhalla 40K, is that different than Warhammer
No,
40K?
I said Warhammer.
Okay, that sounds like Valhalla. I'm
Sorry,
got it. Great, I'm going.
Warhammer. Warhammer 40k. If that's what happens if you keep putting on the grimdark.
Is that like D&D meets Scandinavian black metal?
Yeah, basically set 40,000 years in the future.
Oh dear. Well, I wonder whatever happened to Varg Vikernes' RPG, Mifurug, or whatever the heck. Yeah.
I think it died. But I think it died in its crib, to be honest, from the sounds of it.
I'll look that up real quick. You
No,
continue.
so another interesting sequel, sadly, was was that of XCOM 2.
No.
That was interesting. They swapped it around. So instead of in the original new XCOM, you're set as the commander fighting on a mildly unified Earth. This time around, it's assuming you lost the first game,
Mm.
which essentially puts the DLC they had as an alternate, as alternate,
Alternate version.
yes, alternate universe.
Very nicely done.
Yeah, so that's alternate universe now. Um, so instead of having succeeded, you're failed, and it's now 20, 30 years on. The the aliens have taken over. They're doing what all good aliens do and propagandizing, saying, oh, we saved you. Aren't you happy? We save you. Quite why they're doing it is not explained in the trailer.
This is a sense of a sequel that nobody really wanted, or that's bad.
No, this has been wanted. People were terribly excited for the DLC expansion that kicked off about a year ago or so now. Let's see. Actually, I've got that one, so let's scroll down to my games.
So where's the primary
Enemy Within. That was it.
So is there a lot of disappointment reaction here?
It's more confusion, a bit of confusion.
Or more like meh?
No, I think there's excitement. I wouldn't say there's a massive buzz, but there's definitely excitement, a bit of anticipation, and a bit of confusion because obviously they're playing out that humanity lost that its particular battle, which obviously means that your effort in Enemy Within and Enemy Unknown, the first two games, is kind of moot. So they're interested as to why that was set, how that'll fit in, and they're confused as to why the snake lady has breasts. Yes, that is something people picked on, and something they have been questioning. Why did the snake lady have breasts?
To get to the other side.
I don't know. It makes no goddamn sense to me. But that is one of the questions I've been hearing. Is why
Yeah,
why does she have breasts, and what is happening there? Let's see.
so in other words, it's been curiosity. Yeah.
Hmm?
Curiosity.
Yeah, basically, people are curious as to what's going on there. But that aside, the change up from being the defender to being the aggressor, trying to rescue humanity, has actually made made it more fresh. It's different from every other XCOM. So now stealth plays a bigger part on your part. I, from what I saw, your base will play a bigger role because now it's not a fixed base underground that you choose a location for. Now it's more of a on the go mobile ship that they looted from the aliens. So yeah, that'll be interesting to look at. But yeah, as I said, it was mostly sequels, rehashes, like Battlefield. That got some That was the only thing interesting in the EA conference was Battlefield, and even that was somewhat somewhat underlined, shall we say?
Now, Battlefield. What genre is that?
First person shooter.
God,
Yeah.
another.
Yes.
Another.
Well, it could hardly be anything else being made by Dice.
Okay, fair cop.
Yeah. But that was one of the things I think they looted out of the THQ disaster, I believe. Yeah, that was kind of interesting. Kind of, but only mildly so. Let's see what else.
Yes, yeah.
Ubisoft was kind of meh. They showcased a couple of new games. They were mostly all shooters. They more fleshed out, but not to any significant degree. Their new Rainbow Six game, which is a third-person shooter based off cops and robbers, basically.
Oh,
So essentially, you play a special elite police force tasked with tackling the highest risk scenarios. So yeah,
is there anything where I put something where I play just a 2-bit detective with no skills whatsoever rise and the goal is to rise in the ranks, anything like that?
no,
No, that's
no,
not exciting. I want to be an elite. Everything's got to be elite.
nope. Sorry, absolutely nothing like that,
Oh,
unfortunately.
oh, dude.
Or rather, there was nothing specifically like that.
Okay. Again, not that I have anything against escapism or super being super and all that.
Yeah,
Just questions that occur to me. Continue.
yeah. No, Nintendo, being Nintendo, was doing their own event. Uh, alongside that was mostly. I didn't catch that one, but from what I read of it, it was mostly bland.
Well, they always have their own magazine, so why don't they? So to run their own conference side by side within the conference. Sure,
Mm-hmm.
legit.
Basically.
They have better food, I bet.
Probably. But no, see. So no, you can't really say much about that. The PC one was actually kind of a disappointment. I did actually get to see that. It was kind of bland, kind of meh. So nothing spectacular happened there, unfortunately.
So the PC Master Race did not represent.
No, their conference did not go well.
That's kind of surprising and disappointing.
Yeah, I think it's because all the good stuff had been shown off at the consoles and the various third-party platforms, so they had nothing to showcase. Ultimately, nothing new. So ultimately, it was just stuck.
Again, kind of you know, good stuff, but mostly rehashing.
Yeah. Let's see what other. No, I think that more or less covers it.
Yeah.
That more or less covers all the conferences. Uh, Overall, I think it was a good year. It wasn't the best, but it was certainly better than mm, some of the more awful years that they've had.
So you think it shows an encouraging trend over recent years?
Uh, yes and no. Yes, that it showed more focus on the games and more focus on, you know, showcasing the games, but no, in the fact that it's mostly the same stuff we've been having for years and years now.
Yeah, and that, like we said, they're doing the Hollywood thing of just kind of spinning their wheels in remake land and being treading familiar, relatively conservative ground.
Basically, basically. So yeah, kind of sad that.
Well, remind me, I'll look at Milo's YouTube channel because like I said, I was looking forward to it because I was envisioning, for instance, him wandering around with a webcam attached to his belt, and saying sarky things.
I believe. Let's see. Let's see. I'm trying to find where exactly he was streaming out of. I'm not sure exactly where he was streaming out of.
Good lord! Like I said, after his let's play with Portal, uh,
Yeah.
like it would be the height. It would be the height of humor for him to do a hardware review.
Yeah. I know he did actually end up upgrading his system to play games. So I think a review would be right up his alley as his next thing. But no, uh, overall, yeah, E3 is kind of meh.
Yeah. Well, honestly, since Milo dyed his hair blonde, um,
Oh, it just
he
looks
already
weird.
because of that he has a perfect resemblance to the PC Master Race avatar.
Yes, he does.
So I think she should pose for like professional photographs of some kind. Show it with like you saw the stream he did where he was dressed up in the little maid's outfit and he's like dusting and shit.
No, I did not. I regret not.
This is where he was talking about the wage gap. Okay, well, because this part that may have been what put this in my mind just now. Do this sarcastic village people kind of poster with him, with his hair is styled in the PC Master Race guy style, and he's got a PC case open, and and his shirt off, and he's got a wrench in his hand, a blowtorch in the other.
Uh,
He could roll in the bucks, man. People would eat that shit up.
yeah, yeah, they would. No, anyway, would you like to move it on to the Reddit drama, or is there anything else you'd like to ask about the E3?
Excellent. Less chit chat, more granny banging.
Uh, anyway, so yes, Reddit went through a period known as. I don't know what the consistent name for it is yet. I'm hearing AMA Geddon
Hmm.
is one. The
I'm again.
Yes, the Armageddon,
Mhm.
or the
Um,
or the Darkening. I hear the Darkening. I think follows on quite well, to be honest, as a choice.
Boy,
But
I think whatever people end up, the consensus ends up being that what we call it will be good.
mm,
We know what it is, so let's
yeah,
have at
moving.
it.
Yeah. Anyway, so basically, if you would like to start, when did it happen? When did it start first kick off?
Oh Lord, it's honestly with my pain levels and such this last week and a half, as every day is sort of blended into the next.
All right then. Uh, so it's so technically, I suppose the issue starts off with the fattening. I suppose, when 5 subreddits, including Fat People Hate and NeoFag, were banned from Reddit.
Yes.
Obviously, this caused issues for a couple of days, and it was interesting watching the number counter on Kotaku in Actions sidebar going up and up and up.
Faster than during almost any point since its inception, as I recall.
Yes, I don't think we've had that level since a major happening in a good long while.
Actually, time for Reddit metrics.
Should show you. No, but outside of that, oh, I'm echoing.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Yep. First week of June is where you have that huge spike.
Mm, I'm not surprised. So yes. Oh, what's up with the echo?
I don't know. I hear this faint sound in the background. It's like a tea kettle whistling, an asthmatic tea kettle.
Hmm. But
Or,
anyway,
or a soulless wind sweeping across the Arctic tundra.
let me move away from my end because I think it's on your end. Anyway, so obviously the fattening was a major happening, and the overall conclusion was relatively minor. There, unfortunately, nothing really happened. So, within the last couple of days, oh God, that's annoying. Let me just. Uh,
Oh, I just turned off my fan.
yeah,
Hopefully that'll help.
no. Hold on, I'm just gonna mute you and then say what I want to say.
Go for it.
Anyway, basically, the major happening that happened this time was, yes, a person who went by the handle Shooter, or also known as Victoria, some last name, whose name escapes me, um, was unceremoniously fired. This was considered, I suppose this would have gone without mention had Reddit actually bothered to inform any of the people that relied on her, primarily because she was responsible for half a dozen users doing AMAs. And you are fully aware of how important those AMAs are to Reddit. Let's see, just turn you back. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, the Ask Me Anything's. I mean, obviously, you're dealing with some, famous people to one degree or another, and so they do things, very important things like verify identity, serve as a liaison, etc.
Yeah. As far as I'm aware, where she was massively important when it came to helping some of the more technology illiterate AMAs or fielding some questions they had.
Right.
So essentially, they were the main contact. So when she was fired, it completely ruined all of those AMAs, which obviously puts them in an awful position.
So, is there any clarification yet as to the supposed definitive reason for the firing?
Mm, there are two theories.
Yeah.
One is that she was fired because of that Jesse Jackson AMA,
Right.
and because that went poorly for Reddit.
I'm gonna say he did. At least he didn't get questions like, "If I put it in my butt, will it feel good?"
I think that would have been better.
Well, it would have been better in some ways and not as good in others. Depending.
It would have made Reddit look stupid, not Reddit look racist.
Exactly. Well, in some way, I don't know. I'd be depending. You looking at this, it makes some people on Reddit look racist, and other people just look tired of black identity politics bullshit.
Exactly.
And that's very embarrassing and awkward and uncomfortable, and something that even less people want to talk about than actual blatant racism, which is easy to dismiss and excuse, and anybody cares about will defend.
Oh wow, the guy deleted his account.
What was deleted?
The guy who asked him the question.
Oh, the Jesse Jackson question. Oh well.
Yes, he deleted his account. Let's see. There you go.
He chose
That
poorly.
that is a question. Fielded twice.
Yep.
So that quote and others like it were one of the reasons people were attributing to her getting
And
fired.
that reply is just so rambling and surreal and
Yeah,
disconnected.
yeah.
It's not unfortunately it's not quite as entertaining as an old school Usenet say Ludwig plutonium rant.
Wrong place for it, I suppose.
But it makes you wonder about whoever it was who was in charge of answering that question. What were they thinking? What was going through their brain?
I suppose he's trying to dodge it. I don't know. I don't know. It makes no sense. The second theory, anyway, is that she was resistant to the increasing pushes to to commercialize Reddit.
Victoria was resistant to
Yes,
them. Yes.
that was the second reason. It's not healed. Specifically on the AMAs and a couple of other areas. But that was one of the other reasons I was hearing as a possibility.